What we've seen social media do is allow students to work together across different places in time and space. They don't all have to be in the same area to be able to produce a finalized project and an outcome, and to be able to post those projects and to be able to use social media platforms to feature those projects through presentations, I think has been a game changer for a lot of our schools.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Well, hello, I'm Superintendent Gabriel Trujillo, the proud superintendent of the Tucson Unified School District. We serve 40,000 students right along the Arizona-Mexico border in Arizona's second largest city, Tucson. We are a district comprised of 86 elementary, middle school, and high school campuses, and we feature one of Arizona's most diverse student bodies, as well as one of Arizona's most diverse teacher workforces.
That's great. Superintendent, it's awesome to have you here today, especially hearing that you have a diverse student body, a diverse, I'm going to say parent body, because that's always where it gets exciting here, is to help out people that have English, Spanish, and multilingual in the community. I want to start off here with you, Superintendent, and ask you a big question about kind of the past and where you've come from. And the goal here today is to inspire other district leaders to get some tidbits from you and learn from you, because you really do have some great resources that others can learn from. What's the biggest accomplishment, Superintendent, as a district over the past 1 to 4 years that you've seen in your school district?
Well, I think easily the biggest accomplishment for this administration and this community has been the passage of a $485 million bond dedicated to the renovation, the refurbishment, and the modernization of basically Arizona's oldest school district. We have a lot of buildings and facilities that are from the 1920s and 30s. And what the bond represents is a newfound confidence that this community has in the work that we do as a district. Here at Tucson Unified, we've struggled over the last 15, 20 years with community perception about the quality of the district, the quality of education that students receive. And the victory at the ballot box, I believe, represents a shifting of opinions around the work that our teachers do and that our educators do here with these students in the city of Tucson.
Yeah, congratulations on that. It's not easy to raise that much money, and
No,
really terrific,
no.
the outcome. So the next question I have for you is a little bit about safety. A lot of districts nationwide are worried about social media. And so I want to get some advice from you for other district leaders. What advice do you have for other school districts to deal with possible social media issues that they may have that originate on a social media app, but then create a very real problem on one of their campuses?
Yeah, social media is first and foremost one of the biggest drivers of student conflict, which inevitably at some points leads to school level student violence with regard to fights and assaults that we see across our campuses, particularly at the middle school and high school level. A lot of these conflicts originate online, off hours outside of school, and then spill over into school when students hit the campuses again. If I can offer any tips to superintendents, I think one of the biggest focus areas that we have is device containment. Containing the devices at the point of entry, I think, is one of the most effective strategies that we've had in sort of trying to minimize the amount of conflict that we have to deal with. Students checking in their cell phones to yonder boxes or containers that are held in the classroom tend to minimize opportunities that students have to be checking social media throughout the day, and also to create additional conflicts during the school hours. It doesn't totally solve all of the problems, but it's certainly in the schools where we do have device lock boxes and yonder boxes for cell phones and other devices. We've seen a reduction in levels of fights and student-driven conflict as a result of social media. From the policy front, crafting a high-quality policy that's well communicated to teachers and to parents, I think has also been very, very effective for us here in the Tucson Unified School District. a clear policy that outlines acceptable uses of devices and social media and inappropriate usages of social media and devices that are clearly laid forth in our student code of conduct, I think has gone a long way in the last couple of years in educating our parents and making them partners in terms of understanding when it is appropriate and when it's not appropriate to use devices or to employ social media in the classroom. I'm by no means saying that even with these primary strategies implemented in an effective way across the district, that we have addressed all of the issues that social media and the usage of social media has presented to us as we struggle with a student body that deals with device addiction, I believe deals with social media app addiction in a number of ways. And it doesn't necessarily spill out into conflict or levels of student violence, but drives other disturbing challenges with mental health and behavioral health and self-esteem issues that we also see play out with our students.
I want to move into some of the positive online things that may have happened in your community. Could you provide some examples of how your students may have used their social media in a positive or productive way that may have benefited themselves or their community?
I know we've been thus far talking about sort of the threat that social media presents to safety, but we've also seen social media be an incredible tool. It's been an incredible instructional tool in a lot of our schools that are focused on project-based learning, where students work in teams to meet a set of instructional outcomes and to demonstrate mastery of those instructional outcomes through the creation of multimedia projects that require them to collaborate, work together. And what we've seen social media do is allow students to work together across different places in time and space. They don't all have to be in the same area to be able to produce a finalized project in an outcome. And to be able to post those projects and to be able to use social media platforms to feature those projects through presentations, I think has been a game changer for a lot of our schools. It's helped our teachers make that shift from 20th century teacher-led instruction to 21st century student-led collaboration and content creation to demonstrate instructional mastery. When I go into the usage of social media, also in how it's enhanced student government and student extracurricular activities, students are able to promote their clubs and their activities on social media in a very positive way, and to capture videos and photos of those wonderful moments together as teams and as clubs that I think help send positive messages to our parents and to our community at large about some of the amazing things that our young people are doing in schools in and out of the classroom.
Yeah, well said. So, superintendent, the next question is a lot of district leaders are saying, okay, we know the threats about social media, we know it's positive, but we want to work and partner with parents and be on the same page. We're going to do better as a team, as a community. So, I want to dive into that. I'd love to ask you a two-part question. What are your suggestions for other districts to increase parent engagement? And the second part of that is, are there any specific channels or events that get the biggest turnout in your community?
Yeah, here in the Tucson Unified School District, we are blessed with 6 family engagement centers. About 10 years ago, the school board, prior to my arrival, repurposed 6 schools that had previously closed and created family resource centers out of these schools. These schools feature computer labs, childcare, and a full slate of course taking opportunities and adult education for parents, everything from GED preparation to English language acquisition classes for a lot of our refugee population and a lot of our non English speaking parents. They also feature a full range of courses around device management and social media protections for parents. We call it smart social media, where parents in these classes are able to learn about the different apps, the disruptive nature of some of the apps, as well as some of the positive features of the apps, to check phones, teach them how to get into the different apps, to review what their students are doing and what their students are posting, and providing them lines of communication into our school safety division and into our local schools where they can report anything disturbing that they see on their kids' phones, particularly postings about threats of violence to individuals, other students, teachers, and of course, anything that they may see on these apps threatening school shootings or major incidents of school violence. So we found these courses to be very well attended. Obviously, we haven't been able to scale up as fast as we've wanted to, but we always see that we get a full 25 or 30 parents at a time participating in these courses. And it's really all about connecting with our parents and arming them with information, tips, guidance, and suggestions on how to appropriately manage their child's social media usage. And I think the goal that we have for the courses is also, up to this point, we've really just been dealing with containment. We've been dealing with arming our parents with strategies on how to monitor. But now I think in the coming year, we really want to focus on some of the dangers of using social media excessively and how that affects students' interpersonal skill development, how it can be an isolating experience for students that are addicted to their screens and these apps, and how it could sometimes inhibit their ability to go out and establish really authentic person to person relationships, which really define an excellent school experience. Those person to person relationships that young people establish with teachers, the educators in the building, fellow classmates, students that they meet in classes, and then, of course, fellow athletes and performance artists that they'll see in extracurricular activities.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. There's so much to unpack there, and I'm so excited that you're here today. But I want to get to the next topic that is the hottest topic, Doctor. This is the topic that everybody's talking about, and it's AI. But first, I want to pause for just a sec and give an awesome shout out and gratitude to the smartsocial.com team who's helping 100 plus school districts nationwide with their parent engagement events. My incredible team is doing it in both English and Espanol, Mandarin, and 12 other languages. No parent is left behind. Thank you to all the superintendents nationwide that not only are using our programs for their 54 plus live virtual online events, but also helping us put teens in the program so that teens learn from other teens. And then also they're using our premium parent newsletter. That's incredible. And shout out to the many school districts that are contributing to our new social media posts that we give to every school district to teach parents how to navigate things so the districts can put it on their Instagram and distribute our content nationwide. So shout out to the incredible team at Smart Social. We're grateful for you protecting families all over the country. Superintendent, the last question I have for you here today is the hottest thing that everybody's talking about. It's artificial intelligence. Oh no, is it dangerous? Is it scary? Are kids going to cheat? What's going on? When we were kids, our teachers told us you're not going to have a calculator in your back pocket, so you better not expect to do that. Well, the world changed, and now there's new tools that some are scared of, some are using it in a positive way. I'd love to get your take. And my question for you is, how is your school district approaching AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude?
We've assembled, number one, like most districts, this is an emerging technology. This is a disruptive technology, much like the internet was 25, 30 years ago. And we don't necessarily have all the answers. But what we have done is we've formed two very large working committees, and we've asked them to engage in conversations with parents and community about expectations for the usage of AI, fears about the usage of AI, and then, of course, ways that our parents and our community see that we can leverage AI for better instructional outcomes. That's our external work. Internally, we're working with our principals and our teachers to start positively to really identify what are the areas where the usage of Gemini and ChatGPT can strengthen instructional outcomes. We didn't want to start with a deficit approach. We wanted to start with how could ChatGPT and Gemini and some of these other AI apps strengthen instruction in the classroom, increase student engagement, serve as an instructional tool. Ultimately, Josh, we're headed towards policy. Our goal is to put a policy in front of the governing board and to fully welcome AI into the district, but through policy and in a way where the appropriate uses of AI are clearly enumerated for instructional purposes. We're also working with our administrators and our teachers to really identify the threats that AI can pose in terms of plagiarism, which I think is the number one thing on people's minds is how to deal with the plagiarism, how to regulate the usage of AI. And then if there is a way that we can make ChatGPT or Gemini as mainstream in the way that we work as a district workforce, or the way that students learn, as mainstream as Microsoft has become for us, as mainstream as Outlook has become for us. And that's inevitably our goal. And we're starting with the development of policy. Externally, we're trying to be very inclusive of our parents and our community members through a series of working groups. And then, of course, working with our educators on the ground. But like most districts, trying to stand up a policy is probably the first priority. It is the first priority that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our other superintendents on another episode said, we're building the plane while we're learning how to fly it. And that's kind of what AI is right now. It's exciting and it's changing, and we're learning how to fly it, and it's building it as well. So I think it's an interesting time for all of us. Hey, Superintendent, I really want to thank you. Thanks for coming on the podcast here today.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I enjoy the time here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And to the other district leaders, parents, educators nationwide, we here at smartsocial.com have practical and tactical short videos that you can use to educate your whole community, both in English, Espanol, Mandarin, 12 other languages, in text, video, audio. It's amazing what we can do these days. We're grateful to everybody in 29 different states that's using our content as we help to keep kids safe on social media so they can someday shine online. And parents, if you're watching, remember, as the title of my book says, to keep it light, bright, and polite, because your kids are watching what you're doing online. We'll see all of you on the next episode. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.